the students, call them the VACs, and the parents. And that is how AI is influencing university selection. Now, Senior 6 results were out, and of course today the media, the papers are awash with best performing schools, best performing candidates. I saw almost all my schools, O and A and AJ Senior Secondary School. Thanks very much for doing that. And also St. Mary's Chitende. Now I'm looking for Namiryango College, Ruben Kasera Mpima's school. I've tried to look through. I've not seen Namiryango College, but at least I've seen St. Mary's Chitende. We may not have dominated as previously, but we have still made it there. I've seen AJ Senior Secondary School that also did great there. And of course, many other traditional schools that I will not mention because of time. Let me use that. Now, what happens is, after A-level is done, now someone is going into university. And university aligns you more with the line of work. So we are looking at AI in terms of these selections. Why? That today, the reality is artificial intelligence. Now, how you make those decisions of which university you're going into or you're going to join, if you don't consider the most important factor of this generation, you may be doomed. Now, join me, welcome. I call him the father of AI in Uganda, because he's a man who began speaking about AI. One time telling him, but Professor, I think you're a lonely wolf. But then he told me, no, he even has a book. I just forgot to carry mine. And he didn't publish it when AI was a talk in Uganda. No. So many years back, this is the gentleman that I call the father of AI because of his passion, his interest, and his vision that one day AI is going to be the talk. Join me, welcome the Vice Chancellor of Victoria University, Professor Lawrence Muganga. Professor, you're most welcome.
Robert, thank you very, very much. America has Jeffrey Hinton as the godfather of AI, and Uganda has me. That's what you want to say. So, but what is important for us is to understand what is this AI that people talk about, where is it taking us, and how do we prepare to really be there? Because we either act or remain redundant, but the world will move and AI will flourish in other countries and will remain behind. And our young people will continue to be very much unemployed, even more than it is today, because of the AI era. So the onus is on us to do something as a country, as every individual. You can't leave this to government. You do your part. Every person, father, mother, student, sister, brother, do something about it if you have someone you care about. Having said that, I bring you greetings from Victoria University, just here in the middle of Kampala. But we welcome students from all over the country. Where you can't reach us, our education will reach you where you are. That's technology now that we are talking about. You would be actually surprised, Robert. We called upon Ugandans who wanted to really better themselves to understand what AI is all about and how it can help them, how they can use them in their daily lives. And by offering a free AI training at Victoria University, and almost 10,000 Ugandans responded and applied to pursue a free AI training. That gives you the understanding, it shows you how Ugandans are craving for more knowledge that is latest, knowledge that is applicable to the world we live in, but also extending to the future. So that AI training is going to be launched this week at Victoria University, Wednesday to be precise. We are going to really push out different communications to different platforms, including UBC, inviting people to come and they see the launch of this free AI training. That's the little we can do as a university. So yes, everyone is welcome. 10,000, yes, is a number, a huge number, at a huge cost, but we will offer that. This is our country, these are our people, and that's Victoria University.
Mm-hmm. Now, Professor, for our viewer, why is it important for someone in Uganda, also for a student joining university, because now you're joining what is preparing you for the world of work, to consider AI as a top priority?
Okay, great. You know, it's important to understand, if you want to understand where you are right now, you, the viewer, and everyone else who will come across this conversation, it is important that we understand where we are headed, but where we come from, show us where we are. So now, if we look back, if you allowed me, if we look back so many years ago, history has been showing us in the world that every time there is a new wave of innovations, technology innovation, we see our GDP, the world's GDP growing, increasing. So all the way from the 1700s, those are our ancestors of our ancestors, I think, lived at that time. They saw the railway engine, all those things coming up, and GDP almost grew by 0.6% that time. So we come to the 1900s, for example. Then you start seeing things like the telephone. You start seeing things like the automobile, the cars. You start seeing, what else? The telephone, electricity, okay, and the cars. When that innovation showed up, GDP growth increased by, it grew by 6%. Now, those are the three technologies that happened at that time. So come to the 80s, 90s, you're going to see internet, you're going to see computers, okay? You're going to see, again, mobile phones showing up. Again, GDP grew. Now, the time we are in today, we are seeing 5 technology platforms, innovations happening at the same time. So they are converging. One is artificial intelligence. Number 2 is multiomics sequencing. So biology influenced by technology. So in other words, people can draw your little blood and can test and actually figure out if someone is suffering from cancer or something, just because of the technology we have. Okay? Number 3 is robotics. Number 4 is energy saving. So I talked about, the 5th one is public blockchain. So now all those 5 technologies are powered by artificial intelligence. And guess what? If you look at their contribution, because those fall into what we call the disruptive innovation technology economy. They have almost 15 other technologies or other use cases that emerge from them. Now, those ones are going to contribute to the growth of the GDP of every country in the world. And if you look at the global equity market capitalization or the global total stock market, it is projected that it will be like $300 trillion. But 70% of that, by 2030, 70% of that, is, which is $210 trillion, is going to be powered by the disruptive innovation technology economy. The traditional economy will only contribute 70%. Now, ask yourself, if you're a parent, if you're a student, if you're a parent, ask yourself one question. is my student, my child, studying to add value to the disruptive innovation economy? Or are they going to get a job in that new economy? Or they are studying to work in the traditional economy, whose jobs are actually disappearing. So that's why we need to, even a student, you need to ask yourself, what I'm studying right now, will it enable me to become productive in the new economy that I've just described? You know what I mean? So it is a very, very difficult question for everyone. So that now should influence everyone to choose which university do you want to go to? What kind of program do you want to pursue? What are the ingredients in that program? Because the same research has pointed to the fact that by 2030, knowledge workers' productivity is going to be grow by 4 times. That means your productivity, Robert, it can now be 4 times higher than it is. Okay, so that what does that mean? It means that if your productivity is higher 4 times, it is influenced by technology. So that means employers are going to look for those people whose abilities are able to help the institution that has employed them grow 4 times. So your abilities, my abilities, another person's abilities, everyone should bring like 4x, 4 times, 4 times, 4 times. Now, the question again is, you, the student of today who is going to school, who has just finished senior 6, is your degree that you're pursuing, is it developed and prepared and taught in such a way that you'll have the competencies and abilities? Will you speak the digital language that is needed by the new economy to be able to be more productive 4 times as needed by the economy? So now, the answer should be to look for an institution and a degree that helps you achieve that. Now, also remember, let's put it to the country level. We have our country, and its planning horizon is looking at 2040. 2040, we have often heard about the 10-fold growth strategy of our country. That means if currently our GDP is around 50 billion US dollars, we need to grow our economy times 10. So that means by 2040, our GDP should be $500 billion. So that requires, if you look at it, it requires actually a growth rate, a GDP growth rate of almost 13 to 14%. So that also requires the employees, the workers, the human capital to be productive 10 times. So in other words, business is no longer as normal as it used to be. So you cannot afford as a student or the parent, your child cannot afford to remain in the status quo, because the country is demanding that we grow 10 times, okay, 10-fold. And for you, you are studying normal things. In other words, you think the older ways are going to produce new ways. No, it can't happen. So my advice would be, the parent, the guardian, anyone who is supporting a learner, and you, the learners, please look for relevant programs, degrees offered by relevant institutions of higher education that will future-proof your education, that will future-proof your employment.
Now, Professor, let's look at the ability. Right now in Uganda, many people choose courses or universities depending on affordability. Let me give my example. When I was growing up, I had 2 dreams, 2 professions. One was to be a pilot. 2 was to be a journalist, because I liked so much. I think it was called Lucy Banya and the late Pale Francis. Now, when I was in senior 3, I visited a friend of mine who had a friend who was studying to be a pilot. I think that was Soroti Flying School. The mother was, I think, the administrator of Mengo Hospital, something like that, because Tindewa, the father was a surgeon in Mengo Hospital. Now, when we visit this man, I think the name was Ephraim, when he told us what was required to be a pilot, I think we made an estimate of about, was it 20 million something a term or semester, sorry. Now, Tindewa and I, we sat, both of us wanted to be pilots. Told me, Robert.
So I'm seated with the would-be pilot here.
He told me, Robert, when you look at these monies, all of us were the firstborns. Said, we can't afford, our parents can't. Said, now we must look at priority too. I said, no, me, if I'm not going to be a pilot, then I'll be a journalist, because those were my two dreams. That the effort I was putting in mathematics, I used to view. Now we come to campus. Courses also. If you're going to do this, had one wanted to be a doctor. He achieved it because he first didn't get the points, but I was shocked the young man repeated senior 6. And he made it, is now a doctor. Dr. Pada, I salute you, because he said, I'm doing senior 6 again. I must be a doctor, and he is. Now, most of the students, most of the parents, finances influence choice. Because they'll tell her, this university may offer you this. Let me use Victoria, where you've prioritized so much AI. But they'll tell you, but you see, what is the cost of studying for 3 years? Sit, where are you going to get the money? You know, that particular degree you want to go in. So how can we have these realities? Universities teach AI, but also at affordable costs.
So, Robert, you ask a very, very good question, and which has one type of medicine.
So to cut you short, but just remind you easily, you know how many people went to education in the days of TTCs being free?
Definitely.
Very many, and they would, later on they would confess.
True, a lot of...
I had to go here because of money.
So let me tell you what must happen. And as a country, the onus is on us to get out of, wake up from our slumber and face the realities. And we should also forget the mindset of so many people. I tend to hear it from so many people that Uganda we are still far behind. We cannot start doing things that the developed developed countries are doing. That for us, we still need some time. No, fellow Ugandans, we are as able as any other country. What really misses within ourselves is the will to do what is right. Is the will to start working. Is the will to manage well the little that we have. Is the will to multiply productively everything, every resource that we have. And also, all powered by one thing, in whatever we do as a country, as a people, as everyone, we ought to say and think and believe and carry in our hearts that country first. That country what?
First.
If a country does better, all of us, we will do better, I can guarantee you. Because that means I cannot steal money that is supposed to accomplish a particular project. That means I will really hold accountable anyone who is also trying to misuse those resources. So we are going to be this one force that is fighting for their survival, that is fighting to leave to leave a better Uganda for a new generation who are our children, our grandchildren, and those that will come even when we are no longer here. So, so the dreams that we have 2040, some of us may be there, some of us we may not be there, but everyone needs to play a role, thinking that that 2040 time must be good for my child, must be good for my grandchild, must be the best time for everyone who is there to enjoy. Now that comes back to thinking differently and doing things differently as a country, okay? And we shouldn't shy away from doing things that have never even been done anywhere. Because the things we use today were at one point, they were done and they had never existed. So even us, we can be the source of new things, different things. So I'll give you an example. And I like it that you highlighted sending a student to Victoria University. So an example, again, that I'm going to use is from Victoria University. We chose intentionally to embrace technology because we cannot avoid it. That's the world we are in. It is even getting worse on a daily basis. And the things I'm telling you, it is not that we innovated something new. No. These things elsewhere, their history elsewhere, everyone has been doing them. But because here we see these things as alien, as foreign, so we think embracing technology is amazing, is great. No, it's because we are behind. We are trying to play a catch-up game. So we chose to embrace technology. Now, when you embrace technology, Robert and viewers, it means in the day-to-day learning of a student, that means if I say that every student who is coming to Victoria University, please and please and please, this is the third time I'm saying it, come with a laptop or a tablet, okay? It's not that I don't know that it is also financially draining for some families to even have that gadget. But consider this as though your child was sick and you were supposed to take them to hospital. You will do your best to look for money to save the life of this child.
Very true.
So even in the times we are in, any education that does not take into consideration technology is dead. The same way in James it is said, faith without action is dead. Even education without technology today is dead. So now the question is, do you want your child to go through expired education? Do you want your child to go through an education that will never position them anywhere in the future that they must live in?
Now, Professor, this is where I want to ask you. So, and I want to quote your words. You said at Victoria, we chose intentionally to embrace technology.
Yes.
Now, I visited Victoria University about a year ago, and this is what I found there. Because I need an explanation. When you chose to invest in technology, investing in technology has a price.
Correct.
And we know education, much as you're giving a service, you must make profit. Now, I want to believe you can explain to me, not an expert in education, that when you invest, your investment comes with a price. When I was there, I didn't see students carry books. Each of them had a laptop. When I asked them how do they do exams, coursework, they said, no, for us, everything is done here. You do your marked, everything is about ICT. When I went in the rooms, I think I was in the main hall and I went to one, in the boardroom and I went to one classroom. I found something almost like my TV here.
A digital smart board.
It's a digital smart board.
Yes.
Forgive us, our times we didn't have those. So
you had a blackboard.
Yes, digital
smart
board.
Yes.
Let me note. I found a digital smart board. When I asked someone the cost of that board, I won't mention it on set. Now, Professor, with all this said, in business, doesn't the cost go back to the parent and the student, making what we are advocating for hard?
Very good. You said you are not an expert in education, but I'm saying by the time we are done this show, you will be an expert. So, and this is how you're going to become an expert. Look, if you look at what we have done at Victoria University, and this can be done elsewhere, you have to think about a few things. We are saying that every student, please do us a favor, come with a laptop or a tablet. Okay?
That is about 500, 600
yes.
investment.
So that means...
the cheapest.
Yes, that means even if it means selling a small piece of land to invest in your child, please do it. Even if it means selling that goat or 4 goats, please sell them, because this is a worthy investment. Anything less than that, they are lying to you. It's not an education that is worth it if you are not using technology in the times we are in or the future. Now, when you look at Victoria University, you have a choice as a university to invest. For example, let's begin with the library. Full of books, you come in, you see amazing books, it's, like they're fully stocked, and you go from this section to this section, and I can even give you a tour. But that means those books are expensive, and new editions are released every year. Every year a new book is coming. That means for you to remain relevant, you need to catch up by buying new volume, like new editions. And that's billions of money. So now, instead of think progressive, think forward, think technology, instead of investing in a physical library of books that will get old and students are reading books of 5 years ago, I can guarantee you'll find libraries in this country, the books they are reading are 5 or 10 years ago. But the world we are in today, the resources people are reading are for today or yesterday or last year. So that means most students around the country are reading expired books. The new books, institutions cannot afford them. So you have now to make a choice. Do I establish a physical library, very heavy, or I invest in tech such that instead of buying, say, 50,000 books from our university, Victoria University, I buy the copies needed. If year 1 needs, say, 10 copies, year 2, 10 copies, year 3, 10 copies, those are 30 copies. I buy 30 copies. 30 copies, I push them on a digital platform, okay? Our e-library. That means with your phone, we make your phone, we put it to use. Your phone, your laptop or tablet, you can have this book 24/7, anywhere you are situated in Uganda or abroad. So in other words, we have given you the whole library to move with you. So what does that mean? It means I have saved money from buying a bulk of books. Now I can, buying 30 copies is cheaper and reasonable. So every year I can change these books and I buy latest versions. So for you, you are as relevant, reading relevant information like anyone in Canada, in the US, in Japan, in China, in Finland, in Sweden, in Australia, in Austria. So that is the vibe you're moving with. You don't have to read 10-year-old books. So it is cheaper for me, it is flexible for you, it is giving you the right content. And what do I do with the savings I have done? Reduce people's fees. You see the economics? If instead of buying 50,000 books or 100,000 books, I'm buying 30 books. Now, how much money have I saved? Instead of building a physical library, I have now created an e-library. So that means I have saved money for the building, I have saved money for the physical copies. So that money, you translate it into tuition, reducing, subsidizing people's access to our degree programs. That's why you will find that despite the fact that we are technologically enabled as a university, as a Victoria University, and yet we are the most affordable chartered university in Uganda. You can stretch it and even take it to East Africa because of technology.
Now it makes,
are you an expert in education?
It makes sense. because you make so many savings when it comes to the technology.
And I've just given you one component. Okay, one component. Now let me also drive another component. We are saying now you're pursuing your master's degree, for example. Why can't we change things with technology? The smart board you saw, a teacher is using it. That means they can teach anyone wherever they are situated in the world. And you, on your laptop, on your tablet, with a digital smart board in our classrooms, and the teacher there, you can access what they are teaching in real time. So that means you can stay wherever you are in the world and still access the lessons, the lectures, the conversations that the teacher is having with those who are seated with him or her in the classroom. But look at the savings. You have saved transport. You have saved maybe money for lunch. Okay, you have even reduced the risks of maybe would-be accidents while you're moving around. Sometimes you have even stayed on your job somewhere. If you are in a market somewhere, if you have a shop somewhere, if you are up country on some other work, you are say in Dubai on a conference, UBC sent you there, you can still spare some 2 hours and attend this lecture. So education now looks like the real world, not confining people in a four-cornered room and you call that education. No, real world education, real education, meaningful education should operate in the real world. You cannot be taking people away from what is making them have experience, bring them in a classroom and make them stay there for 3 years, and you tell them to go back to the real world where they are going to ask 3 years of experience. So one of you must be lying the other. So we need to choose what is right. We need to make education very relevant to the real world we live in. We need to wake up and do the things that are not easy to do. The things that are harder to do will give us the best results we are looking for. So we can digitize this country. I mean, we can digitize this education to make the country's people more productive. So in other words, now if I left you in your vicinity, wherever you're situated, you are still looking after your cows, how milk production is going, how they are fed, but at the same time you're also pursuing a degree. So you're becoming you remain productive to this country. So we are not making you redundant. Your farm to go to waste, you come here, you sit in a classroom, and at the end of the day, what we want you to do is to become productive for the country, but you wasted an entire farm by you being absent. So that education is not adding value to the nation. So we need to digitize education to make it cheaper, to make it affordable. The resources you save from a physical library, from a physical lab, you can now use it to pay teachers better salaries. You can reduce the fees such that now education, good education, quality education is accessible by many. So that is my take. That is my thinking, and that's what we have done at Victoria University. And it comes back to everyone who finished Senior 6 recently. I can guarantee you that everything you have studied, let me even link it to the recent research and report. If you look at a report by the World Economic Forum, they are looking at the jobs of the future. And these kids who finished Senior 6, of course, they are looking for the jobs in the future.
Yes, jobs, definitely.
Yes, but we know that all those jobs, the economies are going to be driven by technology. It's not debate. It's finished and dusted. We know it. There's no any other way around it. You like it. We talked about the phone came, and the post office and other courier companies thought it was a joke, and it destroyed them completely. Mobile money came, people thought, no, how can I have my money on a phone? It is not possible.
Yeah.
Right now, if I told you that, oh, Robert, you can wait, I bring you your money. If I owe you money, I'll bring it to you in 3 days, or I can send it to you on mobile money. Which one would you choose?
Definitely, yeah, just do mobile money.
Exactly. So, but remember, in the past, it was not like
people not understand. I have money on a phone. How do I get
use
that?
it?
Yes.
So now even banks are scared. Okay, banks are now fidgeting. They are going into whatever agent you call them. What mobile agent?
Mobile agents.
Agent. So they are fidgeting because
technology has influenced the way banks work.
Exactly.
Completely.
So this thing called artificial intelligence, we may not know it now. That is us, but elsewhere people know it. And it is going to consume it, like it's going to consume us if we don't prepare such that we make it our tool to use it to really develop ourselves. So now, if you look at that, I was telling the senior 6 students who finished this report. This report I was referring to is from World Economic Forum, Jobs of the Future 2025. It says that because of artificial intelligence and other emerging technologies, there are like 5 of them. I talked about them.
The disruptive economy.
Yeah, the disruptive innovation economy. Because of that disruption, we are likely to see 92 million jobs die or disappear. So take a second and think about that, Robert and the viewers. 92 million jobs will disappear because of this technology. Now, the first question you ask yourself as a student and a parent, is this child of mine, or me, the child or the student who has just finished senior 6, everything I'm going to study in any degree program, diploma or vocational, is it going to give me a job that actually has disappeared by 2030? Or it will give me a job that belongs to the new economy. The new economy now, the same report says that because of artificial intelligence and other technologies, there will be 170 million new jobs that we don't know that have been created. So the education you're going to receive, ladies and gentlemen, must position you to belong to that wave of the 170 million new jobs. If it is taking you to the 92 million jobs that are dying and disappearing, that is wrong education. Stay away from it. Pursue a university, pursue a space where you are prepared to fit within the new jobs, and you can grab one of those jobs in the new economy. What have we done as Victoria University to make sure that actually we are educating our students to fit in the new economy, to grab the jobs of the new economy? We have revamped our curriculum. We have made sure that everything you study at Victoria University is technologically driven. No choice. It is technologically driven. In whatever discipline. In whatever discipline. So first of all, it is delivered on technology. You learn on technology. You get to be assessed on technology. Via technology. But also, more importantly, we have embedded artificial intelligence in every program. It could be nursing, it could be midwifery, it can be business, it can be education, it can be anything. You have to study and understand and grasp and master artificial intelligence. Okay? So, it's not just studying ICT. No. You have to look and appear and operate like a student of the future. So we are future-proofing your education and future-proofing your job. We cannot afford to be part of educators that are expiring students before they even start. You understand? I mean, if you are accommodating students to come and study things that belong to the past, you are expiring them.
Very
you understand?
Interesting.
So yes, so they can come to Victoria University. We are ready to work with them. The intake is ongoing. You don't have to wait for August or September. No, our intake is running right now. You register, you apply, you register, and start April.
Very interesting. Well, we are looking at, the topic this morning has been how artificial intelligence, the revolution, is influencing university selections and, of course, the future courses that you're going to be doing. You who is joining university, it's very important for you to have this as a Bible truth, that actually by the time you're out, already even now, and we are seeing these technologies happen. You ask someone, how has this been possible? Remember one time I wanted to dig these wells, we call them wells, at home. So I brought a gentleman who told me, we shall sump until we get water. Then someone told me, no, you don't have to have a number of holes. He just came like a small machine. Told me, here. After being cheated several times, tegaliwo, gali wala, gali kumpi, tegaliwo. This one just came, well, if it's not here, I'll refund every penny of yours. It didn't even take 30 minutes. I said, no, let them work here. It was very cheap.
Right.
It was actual. And here I had spent so much. Now I kept asking myself, how can like a small thing? Said, well, but can't you give that to them? Said, but they don't know how to operate it. So even though there is AI, still you need to have the capacity to operate these gadgets.
Correct. And that's why we are saying everyone should be sensitized to use technologically driven devices. You have to learn how to use a computer. That means you can, if you know how to really use a computer, it means you can search for more information on how to operate a particular gadget, because that information is there in plenty. If YouTube is not working, AI will generate for you step-by-step process. So in other words, there is no better teacher than AI today.
We must move out of here, Professor. What is your parting shot?
I mean, is to thank UBC management for always according us this opportunity to educate the country. And thank you, Robert, for hosting me. But this is what I want to tell parents. And parents, I want to tell you that you've toiled with your child. You've pushed them from the time they were infants. They went to pre-primary. They went to primary. They have now finished second. Even those who are still going through the same cycle, these children are the most important wealth God has ever given you. So do not allow your most precious people, your most precious resource to expire before they grow up. Please allow them the opportunity to learn technology, to use technology, to pursue technology, to position themselves for a particular future that we know that is here, that we know that it is not going anywhere. As we come from a different world, we come from a different generation with a different worldview, with different mindset. We think about things different, but the young people we brought on earth here are thinking different, and their future is going to be very different. The same way we didn't have the car, the same way we didn't have a phone, the same way we didn't have electricity. If they told you that there are people who lived like that without those things, you may simply sympathize with them and you say, poor people, how did they survive? Now those kids are also going to look at us. How did we survive without having AI? But look at what we are doing. We are not doing a lot to support them to prepare for the AI era. So fellow parents, educators, policymakers, government, let us support the young generation to fit in the era that befits them, to fit in the era that they must be in, but they must be there very, very productively. If this country must achieve the 10-fold growth strategy, if this country must achieve the $500 billion GDP, Technology is the only path that is not negotiable, that we must go through. And us at Victoria University, we have done our best to make sure that we provide you with the opportunities. Please come, let's work together. You finished Senior 6, you can come, you can join us, we can work together. One last thing, Robert. Victoria University does not operate in isolation. We have an ecosystem of schools. We have different young schools. We have Kampala Parents Primary School. Parents, take your children there. I know the reason why. This school, Robert, it is world class. World-class facilities. You need to visit there. And by the way, next year, we are setting up a secondary school, Kampala Parents Secondary School, which will also bring these students to Victoria University. So that's why I said those things.
Oh, it's a chain. Well, parents, we give you information. Choice is yours, but think about the future. I've been with the Vice Chancellor of Victoria University looking at AI in this era and why you should prioritize it for your education and the courses you're going to take. Have the best of today. God bless you.